Hi guys, so I'm back. Not again. Um. Anyhow, I'm not planning to play a game today because I just need to like adjust my face first. It's like I'm looking at the wrong direction for some reason. Hold on. Now it is good. So it's just weird as a camera angle. So yeah. Just to update, for this week, I'm not planning to like play something. I have a good reason why. Because first of all, is that it's not really that I don't want to. I don't want to play video games or something. It's just that how to explain this. I just want to rush my what do you call this renovation in my room, so that I don't have much health problems, and not to mention that it will be beneficial, especially that if I'm playing a game, uh, because it's like literally summer in my end, and well, I just want to like vape constantly for now because maybe it's something is like kind of like stressing me off. Okay, so anyhow, once people are here, I'm just going to like explain my point of view. But for now, planning to like watch some SCPs again. There is like a new entry about SCP 001, I think, and I'm kind of interested with the proposals of which which are the SCP proposal 001 that is like literally correct or way more accurate, because there's like I think, if I'm not mistaken, there I watch it and it's just like somewhere like four of it, four SCPs I think, and I'm curious with other versions of the what do you call this SCP. So basically those kind of SCP. So just to add, okay, just to add, so for those for those SCP, I think for those SCP, I think like one, two, three, at least like two or three of them are literally Apollyon type of SCP, and I think one of it is safe. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to like show it to you guys. So yeah, moving and especially that when the day breaks, and I did manage to watch that. It's kind of like really terrifying end of the world scenario. Gate Guardian prototype. Oh shit, there's like lots of it. Yeah, I didn't even finish this, so I just want to like watch this. So there is like a multiple 001, and even the researchers are really confused because it's like they're hiding shit to their fellow SCP. What do you call this? Foundation staff. And yeah, it's sorry guys, but I'm very sorry that I'm just kind of like little bit groggy, and I'm kind of like
Of
little bit
secrecy
late.
at all times, risking your life every single day contending with dangerous and inexplicable anomalies.
I just need to change the quality to
And sometimes you have to do things
720
that
at least, because it's fucking lagging if the quality drops in my YouTube for some reason. It's just like really fucking stupid. I don't know why, but The YouTube is not loading properly. Oh, hold on, hold on.
Working for the SCP Foundation is no walk in the park. You're forced to remain under a veil of secrecy at all times, risking your life every
Okay,
single
this one
day
is a little
contending
bit
with dangerous
interesting
and
because
inexplicable anomalies. And sometimes
it's
you
one
have to
of the
do things
proposals
that you
that
are not proud
about
of.
the
Whether it's
001.
forcing others to collect the dangerous Y909 compound from SCP-3000, the giant eel responsible for creating the chemicals in amnestics, or engaging in a variety of innumerable unscrupulous activities, all done in service of maintaining normalcy. The nature of work at the Foundation invites difficult problems with no clear solutions. Moral dilemmas challenging enough to give a philosopher an
Okay,
aneurysm, and enough trauma that amnestics become standard-issue tools in a Foundation personnel's arsenal. Not just to wipe the minds of
I just need to
others,
like
but
turn off
also
my
to
Discord
use
because
on
my fucking
themselves,
Discord is
allowing
like
their
trying
mental
to
states a
lag me,
reprieve from the
lag
atrocities they may
my
or
PC
may
for some
not
reason.
have committed. But
There
that's
is like
part of the job
encoding
description.
overload in my
You
end.
know what you're signing up for when it comes to the SCP Foundation, even if you're unsure of what your job will entail. What you
Okay,
need to
so
understand is that
it's
when
kind
you
of like
work for the
okay
SCP
now.
Foundation, every day could potentially be your last. And if it's not yours, it's almost definitely someone else's. Maybe that's what the recruiting officers
Well,
tell
yes,
prospective
because
researchers and
dealing
agents
with
to really cheer
anomalies
them
is really
up.
dangerous.
Sometimes carrying out the Foundation's morally questionable acts results in, or
Well,
in some cases,
okay, I just do admit that I'm also part of the what do you call this? Uh, okay, on my lore, okay, I'm just going to bring this up. So on the lore, I'm an SCP. So it started from like freaking Euclid because easily to be contained to until like Keter. I think the reason why they put me on Keter is just like they made me literally that they made me really mad to the point that I got way too violent to the point that I'm the number one reason that why there is like containment breach every week instead of yeah, it's just like this. Every week there is a containment breach, and I'm the number one cause of it because of numerous reasons that is like literally stupid. It's just like maybe something got lost. I throw tantrums, and maybe it's just like I just like cause some accidental deaths because someone touched my stuff, right? So yeah, it's just like on my story. It's just like I'm the number one cause of the site containment facility containment breaches. So although I would admit that I'm not the only one who is doing this. Okay, but every week, every once a week, I'm the number one cause because I would admit I'm really an unstable bunny, and this is why I'm causing the breach every fucking time in what do you call this the foundation sites. Okay,
requires
mostly if
one of the
I
most
was like left
irreversible
alone or
permanent
something like that,
actions,
I'm not going
taking
to
a
like cause
life.
some
Death
issues.
is a common sight at the Foundation. Your job is constantly at risk of prematurely disappearing due to one faulty containment chamber leading to a full-scale breach, or just having the bad luck that comes with being one of the first ones to explore a mysterious location before all of the anomalous effects within are mapped out. Being assigned to a
Wow,
dangerous anomaly will
yeah,
practically
it's
ensure
kind
you
of
will see
dangerous that
death
if
and
you're like
potentially be the cause
going
of
to
it.
discover
D-Class
anomaly
personnel are the
without like
Foundation's lab
having
rats,
any idea at
reportedly
all.
sourced from death row inmates and other unsavory characters. These guys do the jobs that no one else wants to do. Whether it's cleaning the containment chamber of the hostile neck-snapping SCP-173, or venturing
Oh
into
yeah,
the
speaking
dark,
of the
unending
SCP
depths of
remake of
SCP-087's
Containment Breach, I
staircase,
want to
there's no
play it.
shortage of incredibly dangerous tasks for the Foundation to hand out.
I
With
kind
so
of
much
want to
death and
play it
destruction
because first
surrounding
of all
them,
they
it
remade
shouldn't come as a
the designs
surprise
of
that the
the
Foundation
creatures there.
initiated Project Demerung to research what happens after death,
I don't
if
know why my
anything. But that's
Tifa
another
is not
story
working
entirely.
properly.
Let's keep talking about D-Class personnel. There's always someone behind the D class, the one giving orders. And when those orders result in a loss of life, it's going to weigh down on that person's consciousness. Death
Well,
row
kind of
inmate
like
or not.
if I'm
Sometimes amnestics
the
are enough to
employee
smooth
of
it over,
the foundation, I
sometimes not.
do
But
really
no
have
one can
zero
say that the
conscience, to be
Foundation does
honest. I
not
do admit
have an
that.
insensitivity to death. It only takes one look at an SCP file's cold clinical delivery of a brutal experiment gone wrong to realize this. Names listed, names redacted. Sometimes it really feels like all these deaths are just numbers and statistics for the
Yep,
Foundation to
statistics.
report. Maybe the D really does stand for disposable. On one hand, it's understandable. The Foundation is an institution of science, and the need for reports to be as accurate, detailed, and professional as possible outweighs the sorrow and sadness that comes with the loss of
Oh, okay,
life.
okay, okay. One thing that I did notice that is something wrong with foundation. Sometimes there is like lots of uh what what should I say this? There's like lots of SCPs there that deserves to be destroyed for some reason because they are like literally menacing and hard to contain. Because if I were them, okay, and the SCP is really that hostile and you cannot even tame them and they're like hazard for the whole world, I would say I would say I would admit that I would prefer to destroy that than let's say contain it because it would be really hard and it will cost more life or let's say cause more anomalous effect or worse it that maybe cooperating with the other SCP, which is it happened to me. For me it's just like if the foundation decided to like off me, like kill me for some reason, is I would say I will not take that personally, but still, I'm easy to like contain most of the time as long as nothing happens. So
But
yeah,
on
I'm
the
just
other
going to
hand,
continue.
would it hurt these guys to show some humanity for once? It's always a crowd pleaser when the Foundation comes down from its high horse and goes the extra mile to show how much they care. Like when the legendary D14134 single-handedly saved
Yes,
the
like a
world from a
fucking
deadly
melon on his head.
SCP-1983, a barnhouse infested with vicious heart-collecting entities that even the Foundation had difficulty dealing with. Sure, D14134 died, but he was posthumously awarded the Foundation's star for his efforts, the second ever D-Class to do so. Okay, maybe the Foundation needs a bit of work on figuring out how to best honor its most respected members, but is this cold, detached outlook just a result of years of exposure to the hardships of anomalous containment? Or is there something larger at play? This SCP-001 proposal just may provide your answer. As we've explained before, there is no single SCP-001, but many. An old Foundation legend passed down between personnel says that many of the highly classified 001 files are fake, mere diversions to
No, 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 no,
confuse
no,
the
no.
true
I
001.
would say
A
that's
file
not
so
fake.
secretive that the
Here,
Foundation
okay, okay.
resorted to deception on a
I
scale
need to
untold.
correct. I need to correct this lore because first of all, that is so-called proposals. If I'm going to, here's the problem with the narrative is that I would say, okay, I would admit that they should have like decided instead of like make a diversion. First of all, if you're going to make a fucking diversion, it's kind of pointless. First of all, you need the foundation staff to know shit instead of like classifying each or make it like most of it secret. We don't, because if I were them and it's like literally world ending entity that is like that can cause like end of the world scenario EAS, that is acronym. I would reveal that and just designate it with another number instead of like SCP-001. I don't understand why they did to manage to like didn't think about this fucking thing. Okay, I don't know. So maybe it's just like okay, the author or fans decided that I'm going to do this or to do that, and that's the problem. That's the fucking one of the biggest fucking problems that I've ever struggling. Why you have multiple SCP-1001 instead of like splitting it up, designate it with the other another number, and just call it like Apollyon, Euclid, Keter, or Safe. or cow milk, right? It's just like, sorry if I'm ranting right now, it doesn't make really sense for me.
Told just to hide its existence. But that's just a rumor. The truth is that the 001 database is composed of dozens of
By the way,
proposals, all
Scarlet
of
King
which
is a
details
little bit
objects of high
interesting.
importance and
I will
standing to the
watch this
Foundation at
today.
large. From Tufto's proposal, which details the surprising history between the threshold between antiquity and modernity, the Scarlet King, to Ball's proposal, which focuses
Balls.
around a sheaf of papers with the
Balls.
capability to
I like
create
balls.
anomalies. These
Alright.
files don't shy away from covering big questions and delivering even bigger answers. But as always, keep in mind that due to the inherent mystery and veil of secrecy involved in an SCP-001 file, not everything may be true, or appear as
See,
simple
this
as
is
it
what I'm
seems. The
saying. It
anomaly we'll
doesn't
be
make
looking at today is
sense.
Solvex's SCP-001 proposal, which, on the outset, looks deceptively simple. SCP-001 is an antique lamp, like one you'd see at a pawn shop or in your grandparents' attic. While the material of the lamp
Oh
is
yeah,
decidedly
guys.
not
Just to
anomalous,
bring this
the
up,
fuel space
not
is filled with Class
okay.
A
Okay.
ectomorphs, an anomalous particle. Foundation
Okay, just to bring this up, not all SCPs are dangerous, and not all of them are literal monsters. Basically, they are like powerful. Okay, how to explain it in video game terms? So basically, some SCPs are literally a powerful artifact that you can use. That has like a bad or good side effect, or sometimes like between in the middle. So yeah, it's one of the things that I would like to point out because SCP, well, other people, I think, especially others that are like new to SCP universe, will say that, oh, monster, or they just only played the game. First of all, even in the games, that some SCP do have like it's just an object, okay? And just to bring also this that, well, I'm kind of surprised. Some of the people that I'm hanging around it with is not around, but it's okay. Anyhow, yeah, sorry guys. It's just like I'm kind of like got used that there is like someone is throwing shit at me most of the time. So it's kind of like the first time that when I'm doing just chatting, I'm kind of like talking to myself. Anyhow, I would like to point out. Anyhow, okay, just off topic, and it will happen. Sometimes it happens that people will appear when I'm ending the stream, and this is one of the. I think it's not really that annoying if it is like if they're not going to complain that why you are ending the stream. I don't like that question. So I guys, if I just want to bring this up, if I'm really available, okay, and just make sure that you have like spend your time. If not, and I'm not available, just don't force me to do something. And I said before, I have like personal life, I have a job. So yeah, if I say that example somewhere like 10:30 and I'm going to end the stream, and you have no choice but even on my end that yeah, just take up the losses. This applies to your streams too. Okay? Before I continue on the SCP, I want to bring this up, guys. Please respect other VTubers too. Sometimes I do notice this. This is what kind of like pissing me off. Okay, some of you are kids. Okay, I do understand you're kids. You're in college or high schools, but don't be a little shitheads, guys. Okay, that suddenly you're going to appear on the stream, it's ending, and you will say that, oh, extend or something like that. I caught that one person last time on other stream, and I almost started a fight because of that, because it happened to me last time when I'm almost ending the stream. People are late, and some certain dickhead and were going to tell me that why are you ending the stream. It's just like, dude, I have a schedule there. Why didn't you show up that time? It's the same thing that I did notice on other streamers, and they're complaining that, oh, I'm at least admit that you're late, right? Instead of like saying that it's kind of insensitive that you're going to appear late and you will say, why are you finishing? It's like, what do you call this in a nice way? Sorry if I don't want to sound like a dick, but you don't um, you don't force the VTubers or streamers to extend, especially their ending right now. If you're late, that's your fault. It's not our fault. Okay? If we're late on the indicated time that we promise, example, my promise is 7, 8, 9 that I will start. Okay, that time I will start either of those three. And I'm late. I'm excessively late. Like I started somewhere 9:30. And yes, you guys have right to be mad at me. Okay? Just to bring this up, especially the other people who doesn't like give a shit. I know this is internet, but sometimes I need to bring this up because first of all, I did watch, or let's say I did read on Reddit that some certain like VTubers or like streamers cried because there is like a technical issue, there is an issue, and they're just like being an asshole. They unfollow them, and for me, it's not really cool. If you tried that shit to me, I would get mad on the stream. Don't be a jerk, okay, guys, and it will lead a ban. So just show some respect with others, okay? It's not only for me. Apply it to other VTubers, other streamers, okay? Please be nice. Okay. Next, I'm going to get back to the topic. Okay. Sorry if I need to bring this up because I said before I'm hanging around with other VTubers or streamers. Okay, and I caught someone being a jackass to a certain person. Okay, so please understand that they have life. They have a certain time that they will appear. If you don't show up, I'm going to repeat. It's not our fault that we cannot accommodate above those hours because we need to do something else after our stream. For example, for me, I need to do my work. I need to start my work because first of all, some of my money that I receive from the work, this is the one that I'm paying for the commissions. See, we just don't magically produce money. Not to mention Twitch barely pays shit for my other needs. So this one is just like paying my other applets. Applets really plugins or bots. It's kind of cheap. So yeah, this shit it's kind of like paying it. Okay. Next. Speaking of which, so I kind of like got derailed. Kind of like got derailed on what I want to discuss. That yeah. Speaking of SCP, I think do remember that they are just objects and when it comes to like objects, if you're going to play the containment breach, some of the SCP there are not literally are literal objects that has like a good side effect, but if you're going to overuse it, it goes to having like a bad side effect. Which I would admit that yeah, it makes sense. This is why they are contained because you don't know what is the side effect of using that, especially the panacea. I think it's just a fucking pill, right? And to add the monsters that has like literally sentient monsters that is like classified as an objects, they are not literally objects. Okay, this is a code name designation. It doesn't mean that example nine-tailed fox NTF as their mobile task force, it means that they are literally foxes, right? It doesn't make sense. It's just like it is a designation. It doesn't mean the plague doctor has like is named or designated as object means they are an object. He's not an object. He's sentient person. But still, SCP just decided, okay, this is a fucking object. Why not like put it like instead of objects, just to lessen the confusion. If I were the creator of the SCP originally, I would say I would not put objects. Okay, I would not put objects, regardless if it's an object, it's not an object, or it's a dangerous entity. No, I don't want to put that because it's kind of confusing for the first time viewers. I would admit that.
Researchers have hypothesized that the presence of these particles allow for the lamp's flames to burn indefinitely, and an experiment testing these capabilities lasted for over a month with no signs of extinction. Viewing its
Basically,
flames
because
triggers
it's
an
like a
anomalous
freaking
effect, the
anomaly.
suppression of responsibility for deaths caused by the viewer. That's right. SCP-001 extinguishes responsibility for your actions, specifically those that have
So
resulted in the
basically,
deaths of
destroying your
others. While
conscience
your
when using
conscience
that.
may be lightened, this object acts only as a distraction. The memory of the deaths still exists. If mentioning such a death absolutely cannot be avoided, viewers of SCP-001 will instead describe it with a euphemism. Ever wonder why the Foundation uses the terms neutralized or terminated so much? That's
Okay.
because SCP-001 is required viewing for members of the Foundation. Initially, following the item's retrieval in Texas,
Well,
SCP-001
actually,
was
this
cataloged
SCP
as a
object is
simple
kind of
anomaly, a
interesting
light that did not
because
burn
it might
out.
be
Its
explaining that
secondary effect of alleviating responsibility was
it
discovered
might
after the
be the
fact, no
explanation
doubt after
why
some researchers felt
MTF
unusually
just
calm about
kills
sending a
the
few
class person and
individuals to
shoot
their
them down
deaths.
when
Sorry,
there
I
is like
meant
containment breaches.
terminations, in service of the Foundation one day. Its effects transfer even to pictures and videos of SCP-001's flames, which are distributed to all Foundation personnel under a directive referred to as the Acquittal Protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Discovering SCP-001 was truly beneficial to the early Foundation, whose
By the way,
personnel
guys, I need to
understandably
like
struggled
go
with having
somewhere
to
like
take lives and make
10:30
hard
because
decisions. Before the discovery of this object, those working
yeah,
for
as usual,
organizations
I
investigating
need
the
to like
anomalous
go
had to live
later
with untold
10:30,
atrocities weighing down
and
on
I
them.
got.
Take, for
Okay,
example,
I'm just going to
another
share later. Okay, I'm just going to
SCP-001
share later on my
proposal,
just
the
chatting.
Factory. One of the many conflicting, varying origin stories for the Foundation, the Factory was one of the first anomalies investigated by the Foundation, before it had even been
Yeah,
established
I'm
as the
going to watch the
Foundation.
factory
A
version
horrific
of
industrial factory filled to the
SCP-001.
brim with tortured workers, burning machines, and the stench of death. While the
Ooh,
factory was dealt with to the best of the early Foundation's abilities, those involved in the operation were scarred, and rightfully so. Perhaps
why?
to older generations of Foundation employees who lived through horrors unimaginable, exposing the entire organization to this SCP-001 lamp was the right thing to do, to spare the future generations of Foundation workers
Why
from
do they
having to
look
live with the
like
consequences of their actions. But in
how to
doing
say
so,
it in a nice
in
way? I don't
utilizing an
want to get
anomaly on
cancelled
such a
because what
large
I'm
group of
going to
people
say.
against their will,
Their
what is the
body is literally
Foundation
black,
robbing from the
as in
people
like
who work for it? As
literally
Overseer 05-1 once
wearing like
described it in a correspondence letter
skin
regarding
tight black suit.
SCP-001, I still regret that people who join us to protect mankind from abnormalities are changed into abnormalities and contained as such. But still, we must keep going until we find a better way than this method. We must always do our best. In a way, the transformation of the very morality of a human being is an anomaly in itself. By negating the effects of witnessing death, you deliberately create behavior that goes against hundreds of thousands of years of biological wiring. Those
Well,
exposed to
actually, I would love to
SCP-001
have
are
that kind
changed
of lamp.
fundamentally. Metaphorically, this is the curse of the Foundation researcher, sworn to protect, sworn to die in the dark and silence, so that others may live in the light. And like all vows of secrecy, it comes with a cost. It shouldn't come as a surprise that a large number of Foundation personnel work with the organization as a generational calling. Take the Bright family, for instance. Once you're in, there's no getting out. And it's a lot
Okay.
easier to live as a family with knowledge of the Foundation than someone's parent attempting to balance a double life as a senior researcher. For some members of the Foundation, they were thrown into this life before they were even born. And anomalies like
Really? Like a freaking
SCP-001
Spartan?
only cement the line that divides an ordinary person from those working behind the veil. The Foundation secures, contains, and protects, but the people making up the massive organization are just that, people. By
Yep.
furthering the divide between the general public and a member of the SCP Foundation, you only ensure what 05-1 already knew. He continued, Organizations that protect mankind from anomalous objects have existed all over the world for a long time. Although there have been numerous ways of
I
protection,
forgot
it is
the movie that
indispensable to
is
gain
like
knowledge of anomalies, and the processes inevitably include experiments using living human
I kind of
beings.
like
This
forgot the
varies
movie,
depending on
but
times and regions, such as
okay. Okay. I kind of forgot the movie, but I watched something that is like literally almost the same. Let me remember. There is like a movie there. Oh yeah, right. Now I know the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, that one. That shit kind of reminded me of this stuff while I'm watching because yeah, I'm going to like find the summary because it's kind of like I kind of forgot the story, but I feel it's like similar to the containment stuff.
Waves, different ethnic groups, and so on. Nevertheless, it is still largely eroded in the minds of the researchers. Some people could not bear their sins and threw themselves into the sea. Another person eliminated the distinction between life and death to keep his peace of mind, but then he killed his family due to a slight quarrel. I told many personnel repeatedly that these sacrifices led to protecting the world. Such words are, however, only so effective, and many personnel's hearts were
And
understandably
also, I need to
broken. But
clean my
I
vape
found
again.
that
If
lamp.
you're just
The
like
circumstances were
chain vaping,
coincidental,
it will
but its
make
effect
your
is noteworthy. The
cotton
researchers have
really
been able
taste
to
bad
study
or
gruesome
burnt.
anomalies without so much a care in the world. As a result, their work efficiency dramatically increased, and the damage caused by abnormalities was soon negligible. Of course, the feelings remained, but there were measures in place now. Amnestics, advanced anomalous therapies. If we wanted, we could remove the very emotion of sadness from a man's psyche, but we couldn't. We're already far too gone, and the lasting effects of this lamp weigh on my mind the way it is. Those who abandon their responsibility for death by themselves become heterogeneous in daily life where general morality exists. They had become impossible to live among the general public.
Because you
Institutions
just
such as
like
the Ethics
remove
Committee, the
someone's
board of directors responsible for maintaining the
conscience.
foundation's moral integrity can only do so much when surrounded by the amount of death the average secure facility deals with. This is likely why directives such as the acquittal protocol are greenlit. It doesn't entirely negate the effects of death, but it works pretty well as a cheap, simple, organization-wide amnestic, pushing the uncomfortable memories and thoughts to the back of the mind until they're absolutely needed, and even then making sure to sugarcoat them in the most detached, robotic way possible.
Wow, that
So
kind
the
of
next
sucks.
time you think you want to submit a job application to the SCP Foundation, think of SCP-001, as well as all the other difficult, immoral
Now,
tasks you may be
basically,
asked to perform.
I would
Is throwing away
say
your humanity in
okay,
service of
how
the
to
goal of
explain
containment
the
a noble
foundation.
one? What about changing the impact of one of life's most constant elements, death? Whatever the answer may be, there's one thing everyone can agree on. The life of Foundation personnel is not for everyone, and it certainly isn't easy on the mind. Now go check out SCP-001 The
Okay, how
Way
to
the World
explain
Ends,
this?
Reality Unfolds, and SCP-001 Which is the
Oh,
Real
it looks like a
001
fucking Matrix,
SCP
but I'm
animation
kind of
for
like
more wicked
curious
and
with this.
wild SCP-001.
And I will check the Scarlet King because it's kind of like interesting. Okay, to explain, for the foundation, okay, I would say I would put them on lawful
The end
evil
of the
for
world is
some
a topic
reason.
as old as the
And
world
just to remind
itself.
you
As
guys
long as we
that
have lived,
even
we've
if like
realized that this all has to
foundation
come to
does
an
like
end
unethical
someday.
shit most of
It
the
is
time,
just a question
they
of
are not literally that evil. If I'm you're going to ask me, I would say when it comes to like evil, when it comes to organization, I would go with GOC or let's say Chaos Insurgency. For me, it's just kind of like I would compare the foundation, okay, as a Knight Templar. So basically, they have like a good intention, but sometimes their approach is like kind of like fucked up, or sometimes it's morally questionable. It's just like it might be unethical, but for me, it's not really unethical for me. It's just like, oh yeah, it's just like, I would. It sounds like a fucking Templar Knights for me. Sorry, no offense if you like Templar Knights or it's like belonging to a religious organization, but one of the history in, especially in the video games, that they are known for like a black and white thinking when it comes to morality. So I would not dismiss that they are like Templar Knights for me. Yeah, it's kind of like 11 minutes long, so I will just give a commentary for it.
Of when, of how, and of whether there's anything we can do about it. There are thousands upon thousands of different interpretations of how exactly it will all come to an end. Some say it ends with a bang, a massive flood, a plague of locusts, a rain of fire. Some say it ends with a whimper, the quiet death of all life, the stars winking out all at once, the world going to sleep one day and never waking back up.
Yeah,
So how
that
does
kind
it
of
all end? Well,
anomalies
like
are
many great
like Apollyon
tragedies,
because you cannot
Achilles fell
stop
by a single
that shit.
arrow, a tiny
At
tremor
the scatter,
becoming a
you can
deadly
stop that.
tsunami, or a tiny molecule bringing the end for billions. It begins with something small, something seemingly insignificant. It
Okay.
begins with a lock. In 1654, a minor Scottish aristocrat named Sir Edwin Young was traveling across the Mesopotamian desert in search of something most unusual. He was eager to find a new item for his cabinet of curiosities, a room in his home filled with bizarre discoveries from all around the globe. Sculptures of twisted beasts, pickled creatures gazing lifelessly from jars, and
Ooh,
jewels plucked
ew.
from the likely cursed tombs of long-dead royalty. On this particular trip, he found his favorite item yet, which he describes in his journals as a bound jewel of onyx and filigree gold, of fineness beyond rational statement. It was found in an ancient ruin, thought to be the temple of a fearsome death god. Though Sir Young seemed to understand the
Fearless Death
gravity of
God?
his
I don't know
discovery,
who's
he
that.
had no idea what he had found, or that it was yet another world-altering instance of SCP-001. SCP-001 is a complicated topic, one we've covered on here
Okay,
many
this
times
stuff
before.
is really
Every time
interesting
you
because
think
it's
you
not really
understand
obvious for
exactly
me.
what it means, there's a new curveball coming directly at your face. There are nightmarish monsters, a sun that's turned against all human life, more secret origins for the Foundation, and perhaps
Oh
all
yeah,
lives
I
than you
want to
can
show you
even count
guys
on your
about
fingers. A guardian with a flaming sword, a great red monarch hoping to bring an end to all light and
I'm going to
happiness
show
in the
you
multiverse, and now there's
the sun that like literally
SCP-001, the
burns people.
Lock, or Quantum's proposal. After Young's death, his descendants donated his collection to the Scottish National Museum. There, a curator named Mr. McCandlish was able to translate runic sketches in Young's notes, identified as Tertiary Sumerian cuneiform circa 3400 BCE. Though they could not be fully translated, the words with loss, apchat, ending, joy, and permanence were identified. In
Damn,
2003,
I'm
the SCP
sleepy.
Foundation discovered the item and brought it in for further study. The lock is a small, smooth, black ellipsoidal onyx stone with a white pattern that resembles the cosmic microwave background, a pattern of microwaves mapped by NASA that encompasses the entire known universe. The stone is wrapped in complex layers of gold filigree, which cover the stone's center as well as both the top and bottom. At the top of the stone, the pattern of the gold becomes too complex for the human eye to grasp and even defies resolution using a microscope. This is thought to be the keyhole, as it were, or the point at which the lock could become
Okay, where's the
unlocked. The
fucking
thing
key?
about locks is that they tend to hold secrets. They almost
Okay.
always have something valuable to hide, and anything that can be locked can be unlocked, as long as you have the right key. The Foundation tried a variety of methods to open the lock, with no success. Ordinary lock-picking techniques were futile, as were attempts to open it with a hammer, chisel, sledgehammer, bolt cutters, welding torch, or bandsaw. Extreme heat, industrial cutting lasers, car crushers,
Oh,
acid,
basically
plastic
this
explosives, and
shit.
even an
Okay.
atomic warhead had no effect
What?
whatsoever. Dr.
Really?
Hack terminated efforts to unlock the lock, also known as Project Pluto, on the grounds that it was a fool's errand, better at wasting Foundation
I know. Okay, okay, okay. Now this is like really trying to fuck with me because dude, you are Foundation. Use your fucking mind. Why do you waste a nuclear warhead on that object? Really? Oh god. Okay, look. Why not find the fucking key? Maybe that works. You have resources, and then unlock it. Why not? They're wasting time trying to unlock it. Lockpick, laser, and a fucking nuclear warhead on the object. It will not unlock. It's a fucking anomaly. It's just like artifact from a gods. Okay.
resources than producing productive results. However, Dr. Mirsky, who took over the research team after Dr. Hack's departure, resumed the project. They should have stopped trying to open it. Perhaps if they had known what was waiting to be released, what AppCat
Well,
truly
yeah,
meant,
that's true.
they would
If they're
have.
just going
In
to
the
try to
lowest, most
release it,
secure
it might
levels
be
of
like
Site 2,
end of
Dr.
the
Yara
world
Mirsky
scenario
held the
again.
lock in her gloved hands, feeling its heat pulse through the latex. She was inspecting the intricate gold filigree, looking at the place where a key should fit, and pondering their many attempts to unlock it. Nothing had worked yet, and perhaps that was for the best. Though her colleagues were uncomfortable with the idea of something that could not be unlocked, a code that refused to be cracked, she had the distinct feeling that an item
Okay,
that
I'm
couldn't be opened by even the
see. This
blast
is
of a
what I'm
nuclear
saying.
weapon
Their
might be hiding something
her
even
colleagues
deadlier.
are
But she
stupid.
didn't have time to finish that thought. A horn blared, shattering her concentration and alerting her to the coming disaster. It
Shit.
was a warning, a sign that something had breached containment. Only it wasn't something trying to break out. It was something breaking in. Hurriedly, she sat down the lock and opened a hatch in the floor, removing a harpoon gun, outfitted especially for taking on powerful anomalous entities. She
But
knew
I
that the
don't think that
Harbinger
it
was
would
coming.
work
There was
with
little else she knew about the thing, but she was
SCP-173.
certain that it was here for the lock, here to open and usher in whatever would come after. She loaded the bolt into her harpoon gun and prepared for its arrival. Then, all at once, there it was,
Whoa, that's an
glowing
angel.
with brilliant white light almost too bright to look at. It was shaped like a human being, but she couldn't see its face. She couldn't look at it for too long without her head aching. 100 wings sprouted from its back like a biblical angel,
It's a
its
fucking
light
angel.
permeating
Why
the
it's
once
like
dimly lit
they're saying
chamber.
like a
She
fuck
was a researcher, not trained for combat, but there was no other choice when she was all that stood between the lock and this otherworldly being. She closed her eyes tight and she squeezed the trigger. The bolt flew and plunged directly into the being's
and
chest.
it's dead.
The Harbinger watched her. Though she could not
It's
see
dead?
its eyes,
Oh.
she felt its gaze boring into her as it reached up with one hand and broke the harpoon into pieces like it was
Yeah, basically
nothing.
it's a fucking
It
angel,
tossed the pieces
so
to the side, now useless.
it's kind of useless,
Not
you
knowing
know.
what else to do, overcome with awe and terror, Dr. Mirsky collapsed onto her knees. "Cut that out," the Harbinger said, urging her back to her feet. It promised that it would not kill her. As she stared open-mouthed, it produced a small, simple object. A key.
Oh shit!
Dr.
No, no,
Mirsky
no, no,
pleaded
no,
with the
no,
being,
no!
asking it to
Never do that.
reconsider, to think about what might be waiting inside the lock. If the Harbinger had a visible mouth, it would have smiled. It told her that it knew exactly what was inside. It was AppCat, and it would be released. As she watched helpless,
Okay,
the
this is
Harbinger
I'm
pushed the key
kind of
into
curious
the
with this
lock and
shit.
turned. There was a flash of light, unbearably bright and quick. The feeling of everything changed across the world all at once. Suddenly, the being before her was not a creature of wings and light, but a person. A person
And she shot a
almost
person.
recognized, but couldn't. Like the Harbinger had a hold of her mind and wouldn't let her access the memory. "Sorry, nothing personal," it said as its form shifted back to that painful brilliance. "What did you do?" Dr. Mirsky asked. "What did you unlock? What's AppCat?" The Harbinger answered simply, "It is the end."
I thought
Soon
it is
after
a
Dr.
fucking
Mirsky met
Matrix.
the Harbinger and watched it open the lock, a man named Freddie Jones was hunting snakes near Tampa, Florida. A $1,000 prize had been promised to the man who killed the longest python, and $1,500 were
Well,
guaranteed
python is
to the
really
man who
harmless,
killed
so
more
I don't think
pythons
that you're
than
just
anyone
like
else.
hunting a
Just
fucking
days
python unless you're
before,
going
Freddie
to
had
eat
been filling up his truck at the local Gas and Go when he stopped to watch the longest python he had ever seen in his life slither across the asphalt and into the nearby swamp. That was a surefire way to win if he'd ever seen one, and now he was making his way across the wet, springy ground of the swamp in search of his prize. After 2 hours of trampling through the wilderness, all he had to show for it was a few king snakes and some black racers. No pythons yet,
Ah,
and
mm.
certainly not the extra long beasts he'd seen before. He was getting close to giving up, hot, exhausted, covered in bites from fire ants when he saw it. Smooth, scaly skin winding through the
He
underbrush.
got
He'd know that pattern
he just
anywhere. He
forgot
snapped
himself
back into
that
hunter mode,
he
trailing
forgot
the creature as
taking care
fast
of
as he
himself
could.
because of
His
a
heart
fucking
thumped
python.
against his chest,
Nice.
and he reminded himself his cardiologist said to avoid strenuous exercise. But he had already come this far. No giving up now. His father hadn't raised a quitter. Above him, a storm was brewing. Thick clouds gathering as thunder shook the ground and lightning flashed uncomfortably close. He had to move fast. There was no doubt about it. His time out there was
Okay, I'm kind
limited.
of
He
confused.
was
So
right
what
about
is like
this, but
related
not for the
to
reason he
a
thought.
fucking
He
python?
stumbled as the ground quaked, trying to keep on his feet. The python was still in his eye line, looking longer and bigger as he got closer. He weaved through the tall grass looking for the snake's head. He took 6 steps, then 6 more. There was no sign of its head yet. This thing was even bigger than he thought. No way
Mm.
anyone else was taking home that cash. He felt his stomach drop as he realized he still couldn't find the snake's head. Its body stretched on and on, weaving all around the brush. It was everywhere, and it was somehow growing. He
What the
pointed his
fuck?
rifle at one side where the snake's body had grown to the size of a horse. That was impossible. He had to have been seeing things. But there it was. He squeezed the trigger and fired, the sound lost in the thunder. The snake didn't even react. It
Okay,
grew
because
larger and
snake is an
thicker,
anomalous
winding around him as he
object.
turned in circles trying to track it. He didn't even see the enormous head rising over him, at least until it blocked out the sun. He opened his mouth to scream, but was crushed beneath the body of the massive snake as it slithered through the swamp, crushing plants and animals as it went. Freddie Jones was not the only person to see something strange at that moment, and he would not be the last. A change was coming, and it was coming faster than anyone could keep up with.
Okay,
In
I
South
don't
Dakota,
really
the king of
understand
the
what's
bears
happening
clawed
right
his
now.
way up from the earth with paws the size of trucks. A massive beast from the deep crushed a tour boat off the shores of New England. A buffalo the size of a mountain shook itself awake on the Great Plains. Across the world, from above and below and beyond it, something was coming. An unknowable number of things, in fact. Entities from beyond the
Mm-hmm.
stars, from the ocean floor, from the earth's crust and mouse holes in provincial homes. There was some that loved humanity, some that hated it, some that could barely remember what it was. Another was from the SCP Foundation itself, someone who was not supposed to exist. None of them were really, but they all did, and they were all coming to see what would happen next. This story is only just beginning, because it wasn't just one apocalypse that was unleashed with the opening of the lock. It was all of them. Now go check out
Okay,
SCP-001 When Day
okay, I'm
Breaks
going to
and
give
SCP-001 The Scarlet King for more apocalyptic accounts of SCP-001.
okay, I'm going to explain what happened. So basically, when the so-called treasure got unlocked, uh, what do you call this? Most of the anomalies appeared. I would say not anomalies, but monsters. Because first of all, not all anomalies are monsters. They some of them are harmless objects, and those monsters did appear. And I think it kind of like mutated the animals or something like that. And that's the bad thing is that some of the animals do remember our human cruelty towards them. So basically, if something got mutated, then we're kind of fucked because they want revenge against us. It's just like no different from um, what do you call this? As human beings, someone wronged us, and they those animals want a piece of our meat because we did something that is really incredibly painful for them. Okay. Just to add, I think the reason why it's kind of like little bit dangerous because I don't know why that winged angel wants to unlock it, and the female scientist earlier is kind of correct that she doesn't want to unlock it because all of the monsters or anomalies will appear, and in fact, the anomalies got affected to the point that there is a containment breach again on the sites. Okay, so yeah, it's just like, mm-hmm. Now I get it. I kind of now I fucking get it right now. I just need to hydrate first. Okay, so I'm just going to check something. Hold on, guys. Okay, going to check something here. Play what went up to 10 million. Okay, so there's like lots of endorsement to me. Okay, yeah, I just want to add that. Okay, so yeah, unlocking that shit is really that dangerous, and not to mention that I do expect that it's a fucking matrix, but it's not really a matrix for some reason. I find it like really strange. So, in fact, it's kind of impressive that one lock does manage to like release shitloads of monsters and mutating SCPs and current animals. It's kind of okay. Top five: Sam Steel, Avatar. Okay, I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to watch Scarlet King or Daybreaks, but I prefer to watch
001 When Day Breaks, and
when the day
SCP-001 The
breaks
Scarlet.
because I did manage to like watch this on other channels, I think, but I prefer to watch this one because it's a little bit eerie. The narration is really that good for me. And yes, I kind of like instead of like I'm talking before I close the stream, I'm going to do some like short just chatting, and I would announce what I would plan next week. But for now, let's watch because I prefer to watch right now. Maybe it's just
You've
that
been walking for days. Your body aches. You're
it's
dripping with
been a while
sweat
that
from the
I'm doing
heat of
some
the
reacts
sun
or let's
bearing
say
down
give
overhead.
commentary
And
to
yet
this
you're wrapped up
shit.
in layers upon layers of clothing. Even your face is covered. And you're wearing thick black goggles so that not a single centimeter of your body is exposed. Your journey has been long, and you feel like you might die from exhaustion or from overheating due to these multiple layers of clothes. But dying is better than being exposed. You
Ooh,
saw it happen when your entire
ew.
team changed. The light cannot be trusted,
And
not
he
even
melted.
for a fraction of a second. It's been like this for years. You've learned and survived through painful experience. Many of those you used to know cannot say the same. You've been alone for so long. You might have given up all hope if it wasn't for the distress signal coming from a nearby
What
SCP
the fuck is the
Foundation
sound?
containment facility, Site 46. Any kind of survivors would be better than nothing, no matter what kind of sorry
The
shape they
problem
were
is
in,
that
as long
when the
as
day
they were
breaks,
still human.
basically,
You find your way to an opening in the
okay,
side of a
okay, I'm just
mountain.
going to bring this up, but basically, you're fighting a fucking sun. There is no way you can avoid or fight a fucking sun, even if you have like a lots of like what do you call this clothes or something like a suit. You cannot fight it. That's the problem. And this is why this one is called an Apollyon. Apollyon is causes end of the world scenario. So you cannot just fight this shit, okay? You're kind of like fuck, and most of you, are dead or like mutated into a gelatin creatures that is like moving, similar to Viceroids from Tiberian Sun, I think.
And slide into the cave, hoping you weren't spotted. The whole world is crawling with those
Ew.
things now.
See, this
You
is what
can't
I'm
let
saying to you
yourself be
guys. This is
seen.
what I'm
As you
saying.
trudge down the cave towards the entrance, you see what looks like a huge black snail trail splattered on the ground, leading into the facility. You try to avoid it and press on. You don't even need a key card to enter. The door has been left ajar. The facility reeks of those things, but you can't see any of them. You just hope they've moved on and left some human survivors in
Good
their
thing
wake.
that
The place
doesn't
looks
attack
abandoned.
someone
Every
else.
step you take echoes through the empty halls. When you find that the elevator's out, you take the stairs all the way down to level B5, Keter Containment. Lucky for you, it seems all the cells are empty now. The horrors that were kept inside of them have all long since flown
What
with the
happened to
coop.
the plague
You
doctor
keep
because of
following
that?
that slimy black trail until you find an abandoned office. There are no people here anymore. Just a broken barricade, some empty medicine bottles, and a bucket that the people inside the office had apparently been using as a
Ew.
toilet. You breathe a sigh of
Shitting
disappointment at
on the
finding no one
fucking bucket.
alive here, but you're at least relieved to be out of the sun. You can finally remove your jacket and head wrap. With your uncovered eyes, you notice that a nearby computer terminal is still powered up. You sit down at the desk and turn on the monitor. Because of the emergency procedures put into place in a K-class scenario like this, safeguards no longer apply.
See,
You can
this is what
access
I'm
all
saying.
the
You're fighting a
information you
fucking
need,
sun.
up to and including finding out what actually happened. In the dull glow of a nearby emergency light, you see a dark shape slumping through the halls in shadow. You tense up, then exhale as it slithers off into an adjoining hall. You're safe. For
Just
now.
close the
The
fucking door,
terminal
to be
has
honest.
finally loaded and authenticated your access. You're staring at the file for SD Lock's proposal for
Actually, this is one of the best
SCP-001
proposals when it comes to
Wende
like
Breaks. It's the only
SCP-001.
name you can give the apocalypse your world is currently experiencing.
Actually, this
This
will
is one
happen
of
to
the
us sooner
only
than later.
anomalies in the
It's one
entire
of the
history
most
of the
realistic.
SCP Foundation to be given the
Okay,
Apollyon.
guys, I just want to bring this up, but this is one of the realistic SCP that I can think that will exist within our within Earth. Sooner than later, I think like thousands or hundreds of years. I don't know when, because Earth is somehow like billion years, million years old. I think, or billions. Okay, sorry if I'm kind of like dumb. Just kind of like correct me for that. We don't know what will happen to our sun, and maybe it can go hotter or maybe it can explode. So yeah, basically it's not different from when the day breaks, but the only thing that is different is that we don't turn into a fucking mutated creature that looks like a fucking visceroid from Tiberian series. So basically, if this kind of heat happens to us, we're literally dead. We're just going to burn alive. Like, I'm burning! Something like that. So, yeah, it's possible, okay? I'm not going to dismiss that. It's so fucking possible.
Containment class, meaning containment is truly impossible.
Exactly.
SCP-001
It's
is
a
the most
fucking
dangerous
sun. How
enemy
can you
that the
contain a fucking
Foundation
sun?
and planet Earth has ever faced. It's always been the principle of the SCP Foundation to battle in the dark so that the civilian.
Hi, Jack. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, you're just one of the first time chat here, and it's like in fact, Jack, I'm almost done. For another 30 minutes. For another 30 minutes, I might try to raid someone else if I have the time. I'm just going to like finish some like a few SCP video, and I'm just going to do some like some few just chatting because I need to announce what I would plan for next week because I would like to bring that up, and that's it. Maybe it depends. So if we have like that many, I can extend a bit later, or a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to get stuck with until 10:30. I'm just going to like make some short announcement, maybe, or just bring some story up because I want to like share a story. Well, basically, that's okay. At least you're not complaining because Look, Jack, good thing that you're not one of the people who tends to complain that if they're late. And because look, I'm going to share, Jack, okay? I'm just going to repeat this again because I know I'm just like talking with the lurker or to myself earlier. And um I it's okay if your guys are late, okay? The only thing that I don't really want, which happened to other VTuber, I think, or streamer, this is why I almost started a fight on the chat. Is they're kind of disrespectful that they're expecting VTubers or streamers to bow down to their own schedule instead of the VTuber or streamer schedule. And just to yeah, I did manage to tell the viewers earlier that you cannot just expect us to change our schedule at the drop of the hat because you're late. And this is what I said earlier. Because last time there is a guy, I think on the other channel, and he just saying that, oh, why did you do you I forgot it, why do you end? And I did notice that guy, he's kind of like late, and the stream is running for like 3 hours already, I think, or like 3 hours and 30 minutes. And he's just like, it's kind of like a disrespectful dick for me, sorry. And I'm kind of not cool with that because it happened to me last time. Good thing that you're not around, because if you're around and I got little bit mad, Jack, I would say that Jack, ban this guy. He's kind of like disrespectful towards me. Uh, you cannot just like expect, especially that we have like well, yes, I'm just kind of like chilling most of the time. And good thing that there is like no whiners here right now and up here. And there is no whiners here, but I don't want to name someone from the viewers last time, but yeah, someone did whine on my stream, and they are saying that why yeah, I keep repeating hearing that shit that oh, I'm late, you're ending now, what kind of fucking question is that? And I started somewhere like 8 or 9, and I have like Twitter, I have like auto post on Discord, right? I said before, I don't want to disrespect someone else. I need to do some high ground. I need to set an example that yeah, I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to be an asshole. So I'm just going to bring that up because I'm not happy how he reacted to me. It's just like never ever do that. And yeah, basically, Jack, I will stream somewhere Sunday. Well, yes, and I would give them a lecture. Okay, Jack, moving forward. Example, okay, they didn't even show up. They didn't even show up, and they complained. They complained that I'm late. Okay, apologies. That's okay. I'm late. Why are you ending your stream? And they're saying that to me. I would give you a right to time them out. And if they didn't learn, ban them. I don't care if I'm going to lose a fucking viewer or a follower. I don't care. They just don't. What I would say, don't pull that shit to me. That's what I'm going to warn to others. If they're late and apologize, that's okay. I understand maybe they're busy or something like that. That's okay. It's not really a big deal as long as we enjoy. But if they're going to complain, expect that I will drop my personal stuff because they are late and they didn't even show up on the stream time that I already posted, and they're complaining, and that's where I'm not cool. Well, you don't need to investigate on Discord, Jack, because first of all, I don't want you to chase them, okay? I want them to learn their lesson that they need to have an etiquette. They shouldn't be a dick. Because first of all, it's not only me that they might do it. They might do it to other streamers, regardless if they are a big time, they're a small time, or how they are like. Let's make an example. Maybe Valcres. What if they do the same shit to Valcres? What if they do the same shit to Valkyries? Do you get my point, right? They will do the same shit to her. I would say I'm not going to be cool with that. I'm just being honest, okay? I'm not going to be cool because first of all, hold on. I just need to like modify the chat box a bit. Twitch chat. What if they do this shit to Valkyries? I would say I would be utterly disappointed with them because I said
World can
before
thrive
I'm
in the
going to make
light,
a
but
big deal
now
out
the
of it.
light has become the enemy. Anyone exposed to any amount
Yeah.
of sunlight for even the briefest period of time is subjected to the effects of SCP-001, and those effects are
By the way,
beyond belief.
what I'm watching
The
right now is
SCP Foundation
end of the world
administrator released an
scenario. An SCP that is like a sun that is like going to hit up, and basically it will. What I said before earlier before you came in, right? This one you cannot even avoid the shit. I'm being honest with you, Jack. You cannot avoid the shit. It will happen, also happen to us sooner than later. Why? After thousands of years, hundreds of years, a million of years again, our sun might explode or overheat. That's the problem. That if it increases, like it can cause a problem to the Earth. This is the same shit that's happening in this scenario that you cannot even control. How can you contain this shit? You're fighting a fucking
urgent memo
sun,
telling
right?
Foundation personnel to make their way to Site-19 at all costs, because they need all the help they can get. Those exposed to SCP-001 in the process are no longer considered human. Their new designation is SCP-001-A.
Why they are not
These new
human anymore?
entities are to be avoided at all costs. But in case of emergencies, the administrator says it is permitted to cut off parts of your transformed comrades and eat them
Ew!
to
What the
avoid
fuck?
starvation. No attempt should be made to kill them, since you won't succeed. You'll just put yourself at risk. When
Why?
the sun changed and became SCP-001, it instantly affected 6.8 billion innocent people. The second the visible light touched them, whether it was from the sun itself or even reflected off the moon, their bodies liquefied, melting like candle wax into puddles of living gelatinous slime. This effect isn't isolated to humans either. Any biological entity exposed to
Whoa! Whoa!
sunlight
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
immediately
Whoa! Whoa!
underwent
Whoa!
this.
Whoa! 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 So it means it can affect rabbits? Oh shit! Whoa! Huh. Hmm. Jack, I think my I'm kind of afraid right now. Oh yeah. By the way, Jack, sorry. It's just like I'm a little bit distracted what's happening on the video. So by the way, Jack, I'm just going to ask what's happening on your end too. Because after this video, I'm going to share something what's happening on my end. And by the way, Jack, moving forward, I need to bring this up. I would allow politics chat as long as it's not like let's say example. I'm going to make a comprehensive example. Example, Republican versus Democrats or something like that. Yeah, I love fanatic way of expressing it. I would rather have like what do you call this discussion, adult discussion when it comes to like what's happening around the world instead of like trying to avoid it. Instead of like we're avoiding that shit, I would say let's embrace it, but in the right way. Like we can discuss something like example we're discussing what's happening on Ukraine or what's happening in Syria, and yes, we can discuss that. But I human well yes I think yes human emotion first of all when it comes to like animals. Here's the problem. Okay, good topic. So I know why my cats are lazy and a little bit asshole sometimes. Is that they kind of like little bit they reflect on what I am in real life. They kind of reflect it because first of all, I am going to share to you, Jack. I'm going to share something to you. So this is a story. So I think when I adopted my cats, basically they're well behaved. And after like several months or weeks, they just like their attitudes did change to the point that I think the female is kind of like a little bit an asshole for me, and the boy, as in the male white cat, is like, yeah, it's really nice, but it's like really neurotic. And I would admit, I'm a neurotic person in real life. I'm not cheating you. I'm really a neurotic person. That's the truth. Uh, I, I tend to like get nervous really easily.
Same irreversible melting process into SCP-001-A,
Oh
and the
no!
horror
I turned
had
into a
only
gelatin.
just
Bad.
begun. People transformed into SCP-001-A will remain shades of their former intelligence and personality. They may even try to will their new gooey mass into a shape resembling their original form.
Well, that
However,
is
these
cool, to
individuals
be
will lose
honest.
their sense of self if they come into contact with other instances of SCP-001-A. When they come together, 001-A instances will bond on a molecular level, weighting up into horrific giant blobs with only one purpose: integrating more matter
Ew.
into their bodies. That's why they have to be.
Okay, yeah, Jack. Can we discuss it after this? Let's. I'm just going to watch something. Let's finish this and let's discuss it on what do you call this, on my room, on my Q&A room, because yeah, it's so that we have like a closing on somewhere 10:30. Okay, so we're almost done. Few minutes. I just want to bring this up first.
Avoided
I
at
just want to
all
share you something
costs.
about
You continue to
parents too.
search
It's
the
not
computer
only,
terminal for answers.
you know,
Perhaps there was some kind of contingency plan
because
put in
to be
place for
honest,
this, some way to
I
reverse the
said before,
effects, or at
out of the
least escape the
VTubers, I'm the
nightmare
way more
it has
human.
become.
I don't really
Instead, you
pretend
find a
into
series of
fairy,
attachments linked to
fairy
the
tale or something like that.
SCP-001 file, detailing what seems to be the last days of the people who barricaded themselves in the facility. Most prominent among
Thank you
these
for
were
the giving
researcher Dr.
giving me some
Logan Igata,
food.
her partner Ari, a security officer named Commander Anad, and a few others. Dr. Igata had locked herself in the office, where she recorded her final messages to the world. In the first audio log, Dr. Igata and her
Mm.
companions seemed afraid, but hopeful that there may be some way out of this situation.
But the
Dr.
problem is
Igata
that
reported that most of
how
the workers at the facility were transformed during the initial event. Their melted bodies had fused outside the facility,
you
and now they were trying to bust their way back in. The defenses had
imagine
held
if
so
you
far, though,
encountered this shit.
and they
Thank you
seemed
for the
confident they
hydrate.
would hold long enough for them to
Yeah,
figure
I
out a way
hydrated
to
first before you
escape
press
this
the
awful
hydrate.
situation. You open the
That's
second
okay. That's okay.
attachment, an incident report, and realized things may not have been as hopeful as Dr. Igata let on. She reported hearing the huge mass of melted creatures hammering on the door outside again, begging for them to
For
come
that,
out and
I would
experience the
say,
sun with them.
for me,
They
I
wanted
would try to
desperately
like
to add to their ever-growing
burn that
biomass.
shit up. To
In
be
order to
honest,
experiment with what exactly would happen, they sent out one of their few remaining D-classes wearing a full protective suit. He didn't last long. The
why?
huge creature grabbed him with tentacles made of reconstituted flesh. It began ripping off his protective suit as he screamed for mercy. It was a monster made of dozens of people and animals. He could never overpower it. The second the
So
sun
it
touched
became
his
like a really
skin, he
dangerous
melted away and was absorbed
creature.
by the great mass holding him in place. Guns were ineffective against these SCP-001-A superentities.
Okay.
Fire would do no good. It seemed that extremely low temperatures were the only way to slow the immense blobs down. And even then, not permanently. There was one ray of
So
light in
basically,
the
you need to freeze this what you call this, a blob, so that it doesn't attack everyone else. Okay, I understand this shit.
darkness.
The site director had a secret tunnel underneath his office, connected to a tram that could hopefully take them directly to Site-19 without risk of SCP-001 exposure. It was a good plan, and by far the best option they had available to them. But the best plans often don't work in practice.
Why?
You
I'm
open the
curious.
next attachment on the terminal. This time, it's a video feed. You can actually see Dr. Logan Igata, and she looks harrowed by what she's experienced. As it turns out, while the others, including her partner Ari, attempted to escape through the tunnel, something had happened. Dr. Igata heard Ari's voice over her radio, but there was something wrong.
Is there
with
an
it.
SCP
It
on
was
the
too
tunnels?
low, too guttural, and filled with gurgles. SCP-001 had gotten her. She was changed. The monster from above had crawled in through the ceiling. It had taken them, all of them, and converted them into something less than human. Any hope of escape.
So basically,
now
these creatures
seemed
are really
gone.
that aggressive.
Ari told Dr. Igata that it would be fine, that it was such a bright, beautiful, sunny day outside, and she was wasting it locked up inside that office. She tormented Dr. Igata with their shared memories of picnics in the park on sunny days in the
Oh,
past.
this is so
The
fucked
monster
up.
with Ari's voice did everything it could to try to convince Dr. Igata to give up and join them, but she wasn't ready to go just yet. You look away from the screen.
So
when you hear
basically,
a
this is the
sound
reason
in the
why you
corner.
don't want
You
to
see a
fight this
dark
shit.
puddle of some unknown substance, and then some skeletal hands rising out of it. The hands are pulling themselves out of the puddle, followed by a skeletal face
What the
covered
fuck?
in matted hair. You have to stop yourself from screaming until a flash from a nearby security light makes the figure disappear. It's a normal puddle once again. Your mind is playing tricks on
I
you.
thought it's
You open the next
the
attachment,
portal guy
another
from
video, and see that
that is
Dr.
an
Igata's
SCP.
condition has deteriorated. She looked pale, frantic, and thin. She was using a knife to draw her own blood onto a piece of blood-stained parchment covered in strange symbols. Igata ranted about her theory. What if 001 took the minds and bodies of its victims, but not their souls? Through performing some kind of arcane blood ritual,
What the
she
fuck?
hoped to at least rescue and keep the soul of Ari, even if her mind and body were lost. You open the next attachment. It seemed that Agata's ritual worked, but not in the way she hoped. The twisted soul of Ari, driven mad by SCP-001, had taken over the file. It begins corrupting the text of the SCP-001
Okay, this is kinda scary,
file
Jack,
into
to be
crazy
honest,
ranting
because,
about how futile it is to fight.
First,
It
you're
then
fighting
cuts
an
to an even
apocalypse,
more
and suddenly
frightening
it
video
becomes
feed.
like
Dr.
a
Igata,
horror,
in her
psychological
sleep,
horror.
tossing and turning in a makeshift bed in the corner of her office. The camera approaches her in first person and lingers over her sleeping body. An oily skeletal hand reaches past the camera and runs its fingers through Dr. Igata's hair. It's that exact same hand you saw reaching out of that black puddle earlier. You must have seen Ari's lingering spirit. With a lump in your throat, you open the
God.
next attachment and watch the video. You see Dr. Igata, now truly broken.
Imagine
She's
if
been
you're
haunted
alone
by
and
Ari's
this shit
demonic
happens to
spirit
you
for
in
a
real
long
life,
time
you would lose your
and it has
freaking
clearly
mind.
taken its toll. She is waving around a handgun while she speaks. She now believes there's only one way to escape, but not like this. She doesn't want the gun to draw attention to her body. She doesn't want to become part of that mass, even if she is dead. She opens a drawer on her desk she's recording at and places the gun inside. Dr. Igata then apologizes to her loved ones who are likely long since dead or assimilated and turns off the recording for the last time. In that moment, you realize there's a single drawer in the desk in front of you.
But-
When you reach forward and open it, you see the same
But
handgun
guns are
Dr.
useless on this
Igata was
creature, to
holding
be
is
honest.
laying inside.
You cannot even like
You
shoot
pick it
at the
up
sun.
and study it, weighing your options. Perhaps there truly is no other way out.
Actually,
Then
there
you
is
see
like a
an update on
documentary
the
for this,
file. One more
but
attachment has
related to
been
the
added
shy
while you were
guy.
studying the gun. You feel your heart pounding
Yeah,
in your
even the
chest as you
SCPs
reach
do
forward
die
and open the
on this
attachment.
when the
The
day
text has been
when the
changed
day breaks.
entirely. The file
They
on
also kill
SCP-001
SCPs
is
too.
now a poem, an ode to the sun and to ultimate togetherness. Then a video file spontaneously opens itself on the screen. It's a video of you, shot from behind. You see those oily skeletal hands reaching for you in the dark, just like they did with Dr. Igata. In that moment, you panic and fire the gun behind you, hoping to scare off the spirit. Instead, the sound of the gunshots attracts
And
something
he's fucked.
far
He's
worse.
fucked
The
right now.
immense blob of screaming, melted flesh charges towards the office. You try to barricade the door, but it is not enough. The flesh seeps and bursts through and grabs you in its meaty tentacles. You scream and try to escape, but it won't save you. Nothing will save you. The flesh carries you upstairs, out through the empty halls, out into the cave. You can
Oh,
see the light in the
he's
distance
dead.
as the
He's
blob
dead.
ferries you towards it. You won't be
I
alone for
hope that
much
there is like
longer. In fact, you
SCP
won't be
expanded
alone ever
creatures
again.
instead of
Now
like
check out
basic per 4.
SCP-001, the Scarlet King, and SCP-001, which is the real 001, for more deep dives
Okay,
into SCP-001 mysteries and lore.
I'm going to like change the yeah. Encoding is kind of overloaded right now, so I'm just going to transfer to Q&A. Okay, so Jack. Okay, let's continue. I'm very sorry for what happened to your parents and um. Okay, Lou. I think you understood, Jack, that I also lost someone, and it's kind of like not easy to how to explain this. It's kind of like it's not really easy to move on a little bit when it comes to like uh sorry, yeah. Excuse me. It's not really easy to move on. First of all, Jack, okay, I'm going to share to you. I think the first time I feel kind of like fucked up. I think when I lost my adopted grandfather, he died in front of me. This is how to explain this. Until now, it's kind of like affecting me. It's how to explain this again? Sorry, yeah. What do you call this in psychological terms? Yeah, it's complicated grief. Or I have like a really complex grief, or let's say complicated grief that it's hard to recover. And even that my therapist cannot even like find an answer for my grief. It's just like it kind of like permanently damaged me for some reason, and kind of affected me in the currently until now. I'm still grieving for other losses, and it got worse over time. And it's not only the mood, but also my perspective in life. This might explain why I get angry easily. It's just that and also afraid to lose someone. And okay, I'm going to yeah, it's just like I'm really afraid, especially what's happening right now. um sorry, if the talk is a little bit awkward. And yes, Jack, you're correct about that, but for me, I'm just going to be honest, okay? But for me, because of the losses, I turned into something that I don't really want. I'm not saying that I don't really want to be Natalie, okay? I love being Nat. It's just like it's my way to cope with my loss to a certain girl, okay? This is the way that I can revive her in my memory, but still, okay, but still, Jack, that in turn, the loss or grief, it didn't help me at most. And yes, also same to you, Jack. And I'm aware what happened to your dad, right? You shared it, but you didn't even straightforward tell it. But I got it because I've been there. But to be honest, when it comes to like parents, I would say I don't really have much love to my dad, and my mom. I would say 50-50 at most, but towards my dad, nah, I don't have any some kind of love towards them, because first of all, they did something incredibly bad to me. Okay, this is why it's really hard to take them seriously when it comes to like morality. And not to mention, until now, my dad doesn't change. Especially that I'm going to share to you guys, okay, some story. I expected that when my siblings ran away from my dad, I expected him to change. But I'm fucking mistaken. Why? I'm going to explain this part. He doesn't admit that he is wrong. He always thinks he is right. Okay, I'm going to share on December, Christmas. I'm with him. You know, instead of like I'm doing, and this is why, Jack, this is why I'm like finding some adoptive father, because I don't feel that from my dad. I mean, sure, he gives some like career advice. Sometimes I apply it, how to manage people and etc. But it's not enough. If I want to like learn how to manage people, I can just find some mentor, and they just going to mentor me. But it's not one of the things that I want to hear from my dad. First is that my dad should, I want him to admit that he is wrong. I want him to admit that uh, what he's saying to me or what he's doing to me, he admitted that he's wrong last time, his mistakes to me on the past. What I'm saying is the current. He didn't change at all, and I want him to admit that I'm wrong. I underestimated you. I want a sincere apology on what he said, or let's say I'm dealing with him, because I'm kind of like not cool with, until like December. It's just I'm with him. He doesn't respect me as a content creator. He doesn't take my job seriously. In fact, he doesn't respect my job, to be honest. And number three is that he's trying to implement what he wants in life to me. Like, do I want it? Do I want what he's telling me? And he's just saying that compared to your cousin, I keep hearing that shit. Compared to your cousin, that they have this and that. Why are not you like that? Why are you not successful? Yeah, this is Asian parents thing, but still, it's kind of like, dude, I just wasted my fucking time there. Instead of like, I'm streaming, I'm enjoying my shit right now. Okay, I I'm not enjoying I'm not enjoying that time, and it's perfect waste of my time. And until when I come back to the house, I just started my work instead of like I mean, sure, actually the I want someone to like, actually, it's not really mentorship that I'm after with. It's just like I want someone to hear someone out. First of all, I'm going to share something, Jack. For me, okay, my opinion is that I need to fight my own battles, because even if I have like 10 mentors, and it happened last time that it's what you call this, I have my inner demons, and I don't want others to deal with it. First of all, it's not really your problem, guys. In fact, even you, or let's say Katsu or Mixi, I don't want you guys to get involved. First of all, it's my own battle. To mentor, okay, when it comes to mentorship, maybe if you know business or something like that, and yes, I would welcome you, welcome to be mentored. Okay, I'm not really that hard-headed to say that. Oh yeah, I don't want to be mentored because I want to be myself. But to be honest, I want to like little bit distance. First of all, I don't want others to get affected what I'm battling right now. Especially I'm dealing with certain shit. Example, I'm going to share a story. Okay, this is why I'm kind of like little bit mad at my boss for past weeks already. Is that the way he empathizes with me is kind of like half-assed. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, Jack. Yeah, even me, I don't really give up because if I'm going to give up, you will not see me online right now. I will just sleep, maybe oversleep, maybe lazing around or fucking around or something. And right, it's just like you don't want that to happen in your life. You don't really want that to happen, and I would admit that. Okay, I would admit that I don't really want that to happen in my life. So I don't really want to give up, and not to mention everything as is at stake right now. Because to explain that, okay, I have like okay, anyhow, never mind. Everything is at stake right now, and I'm not willing to give up or let's say bow down to anyone's demands. This is why maybe sorry if I sound a little bit aggressive earlier. Is that I need to control of my life. I don't want to answer sorry uh my manager and to other that I to the person also to the person that I said before that I don't like your comment to me. Okay? Sorry if I'm going to be frank with you guys, but I will not bow down to you guys. So sorry for that. First of all, the way I decide and live my life, it's not your business. And screw off, okay? And Jack, to say it bravely in front of you right now, if you find it a reason to unfollow me, okay, I'm going to repeat this again. Unfollow me, don't watch my channel or fire me related to my manager. And okay, continue. And I dare you. First of all, I want to live my life as it is. Dad, if you hear what I'm saying, if you hear what I'm saying, Dad, if you don't like my comment, I would say I want to live and decide for my life. If you don't want, yes, you can threaten me to kick kick me out of this house, especially that this house is not yours anymore. This is mom's house. So yeah, three of you, you can threaten me, but I will not bow down to your tree. Okay? You have a key to unlock free will from your. Actually, I unlocked it already. It's just that the reason why I'm always in civil war. Okay, the reason why I'm always on civil war. Just to explain to you, Jack, is someone is trying to push their narratives to me. It's one of my problems that I'm encountering right now. They're pushing their narratives to me, which is that I'm not really cool with that. They're pushing their narratives. Okay, they're pushing their narratives. It's just like I'm not really cool with that. First of all, if you want if you want me to cooperate with you, respect my views. Respect respect on what I want to do with my life. This is why sometimes I tend to call out people. Sometimes is that example, just like what I said on the topic earlier, is that certain viewers are demanding to their VTuber idols, regardless if they're small time or big time. They are saying that, yeah, I said before, right, that I'm late. I want you to stream or something like that, and they are like finishing the stream already. It's not cool. You're no different from my dad or from my boss. You're not. You're no different from them. You're just like trying to push your narratives because you demand. Okay. Remember that as a VTuber, we are human beings. Okay. Well, yes, I do admit that, Jack, that Hold on, I just need to check my messages. I do admit that, Jack, that okay, sorry. I do admit that, okay? I'm just checking my WhatsApp right now, okay? Sorry for pausing a little bit. Checking my WhatsApp. Okay, nothing. Still nothing. Yep. What I'm saying is that yeah, if someone is trying to push you, push back, but do remember that especially in YouTubing community, okay? If someone shows disrespect, don't be way too harsh. What I'm what I'm doing earlier, okay? What I'm doing earlier is not that harsh. But in fact, in real life, I said before, even you notice that I'm really terrifying person. It's just like um, I'm the last person you others should be fucked with. It's that it's not only that I fight back. Okay, it's not only that I fight back. It's also that I don't give a shit, and I would say I would admit that in real life I'm little bit really that brutal in words, and sometimes I do assault someone if I got pissed off way too much. Um, I don't encourage assault, okay, guys, but I do admit it happens a lot. Sometimes that the it happens a lot in real life, and the funny part here is that in thank you for that, Jack. That you know someone do appreciate. Okay, yeah. Speaking of which, when it comes to assault in Philippines, we don't have that kind of. I know in US, right? That if you assaulted someone, it's like auto criminal charge. But here, it's not. If you assault someone, it's automatically fist fight. So yeah, I do end up in a fight sometimes, and maybe it's just that I tend to like have what do you call this, behavioral issues most of the time, and you will notice that sometimes that it's not obvious because as Natalie, I show my feminine side, but in real life, nah. And even other people got confused because I think some of my coworkers did manage to watch it, and they're confused that why I'm different from work and here. It's that I told them that my male side I do tend to like say show it while doing the work, because first of all, if you're going to be like exactly, respect must be earned. It's just like you cannot just expect the respect drop on you. And so this is the reason why I cannot even like take the other, no offense to other streamer and VTubers, okay? This is the reason why I cannot even take new ones seriously, because they're just begging for attention. It's just like, yeah, do I I'm not going to name someone else, but I do realize even on Twitter, if you notice that, okay, if you see that they will say that, oh, do you I'm really feeling alone, uh I want to have friends, follow me or something like that. This is so fucking desperate. Sorry, that is my opinion. If someone gets offended what I'm saying, I would say yes, you do have right to get offended, but I'm saying that it is so absurd that why would you beg for friendship? I mean, Jack, jeez. Jack, we got our friendship when I'm hanging around with Valkres and we do talk. I'm not going to beg on Twitter and I would say, I want some viewership, I want some follow. This is really ridiculous. Even I cannot even take them seriously. And yes, I do admit that I do follow and have friendship with them, some few, okay, but not all, because I cannot even take them seriously. I cannot even take them like how do you call this, with a respect, okay? Sorry for that, but the way that I don't really show a respect to the person is that how do you call this when it comes to like facial expression? Yeah, my face is in disdain. If I have like a fucking iPhone right now and I have a face tracker, you will see on my face that I'm like having a cringe face immediately. Rules are made to follow but not be broken. But there is a caveat for this. I'm going to give it to you, Jack. Okay? Rules are made to be followed, not to be broken. But add beauty can be also bent. Remember that rules are not absolute. Rules can't be bent on one condition unless on moral grounds or humanitarian grounds. Remember that. I do remember that because we do have like a philosophy class in college, and it's one of the classes that I really love for some reason. I'm an IT, but we do have that minor subject in college. Sometimes I'm talking with the professor about philosophical views of life. Sometimes we talk politics. And remember, when you're talking politics, you don't say, "Yeah, I side with the Democrats" or something like that. That yeah, mine is superior. This is not the way how to discuss politics. Example: how to discuss politics. Bro, you remember that there is like what's happening on Yemen right now? I would say Saudi did really bad on this. At the same time, like the NATO didn't sanction them, and that is an acceptable discussion. Not hooray for pick some politician. Let's say for me, hooray for Duterte, hooray for Lenny. Like, dude, this is not a proper discussion of politics. Even I would get pissed off. Why? It's just really biased. Why not discuss the weakness and strengths of Duterte or Lenny? Oh, by the way, those are running. I think Duterte, if you heard his name, he's our president, right? Exactly. Politics is a chess game, and if you are in the politics, you make sure that you are one steps ahead of opponent. But there is like two types of politics here: good or bad. Good politics is that you are playing a chess game but within the rules, that you don't harm any people at all. That is the good politics. The bad politics is that you're bribing, corruption, war, threatening voters. It happened to us in Philippines. I'm going to share it to you. There is a politician here putting money on envelopes and sending it to the people so that he can get a vote. How fucked up is that, right? I'm not cool with that. If you want to win politics that people will believe on you, remember one thing, guys. Remember one thing, okay? Advice ha. To make people love you and having instead of like a fake love, Jack, it depends on what kind of law because there is like a law that is really that unethical that is protecting how do I say this? Protecting the corrupt or let's say evils in the world. I would say not all of the laws are good. Remember, the law that I do believe in is the golden rule. Do you know golden rule, Jack? Right? That golden rule came from I think Babylon or yeah, I think Sumeria, not Babylon. Babylon or Sumeria. So during that time, they have a golden rule that still applies until now. It got improved over time, which is like added from like Chinese philosophy. That example, one of the things that I do really love is don't do to others that you don't want to do unto you. And in simple terms, it's karma, but it's also one of the unwritten golden rule that can apply in your life. Don't do it to others, the bad things to others that others will do unto you. Because, first of all, if you do something bad to other people, first, they might get a revenge to you. Second, if they don't get a revenge, sooner than later, world will try to fuck us up for being bad. This is the point. Do you? there is like certain people, bad people in real life that I do know that they did something incredibly stupid and bad that they got away from it, but soon something happened to them. It's like they got broke, their wives leaving them, their kids leaving them, they lost their job, and etc. and etc. and etc. So basically, this is karma. It's way more painful. To be honest, if I were them, I would rather get shot. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm not shitting you. I would prefer to be shot dead, than let's say go broke. Not only broke, losing everything I like and love. And I'm going to spend rest of my life dealing with that shit. And I'm being honest, it happened to me once because I would admit that because Jack, you know me already, that I did something bad when I was in early adulthood that will prosecute me for 20 years. And good thing that we do have like a good lawyer, or let's say my my dad has like connections. This is why I stopped doing that. But still, I did worse in the worst way before that. And this is the bad part. Well, that's the problem. This is the problem. If someone is unrepentant, okay, Jack, this is one of my problems that I'm having problem with certain people. I do really hate unrepentant people that doesn't give a shit. In fact, I do admit that. I do admit that, okay? I do really admit that I would rather see someone does good things or redeem themselves through action than let's say, okay, redeem through action. Then let's say I'm very sorry, I'm going to freaking pray. I sometimes I hear that I saw that and hear that in my country that they will do something incredibly fucked up. I will say I'm very sorry. I'm going to pray. I'm not against praying, but still you're just using the name, the holy name for bad things. This is one of the things that I'm not really cool. First of all, if you're okay, I do admit I kind of like read the Bible. If you Jean, we're almost done, and I'm just like discussing something with Jack about something like a morality. Um, okay, I'm going to explain, Jean. By the way, how are you today, Jean? Okay, I'm going to explain. Um, I read the Bible, okay, but I don't really believe anymore. Okay, I would admit to you guys, I don't really believe anymore. I would admit that, but I would like to bring this up. I read front to back. I read whole pages, as in whole verses. This is where I noticed something is bad. It's not the book itself that is the problem. It's the people. Why? They're saying that, yeah, I'm the man of morality, and they said they're man of God. They said that. And they're doing the same opposite shit that they are expected to behave. That's the problem. It's hypocrisy, right? If they want to be the shepherd of peace, they're always saying, why not apply it in real life and do it by action? Do you get the point, guys? Right? Actions speak louder than words. They're just like giving lip service to other people. And this is one of the problems that I have issues sometimes, is that they are not even like, give a shit. They're just I would say greed or pride. Yes, exactly. But if you want to practice a good things when it comes to like what do you call this, religious text, make sure that you are practicing it, not by doing some rituals. Remember, action speaks louder than word. If there is like watching over us, I would say if I were that entity, I would be proud with this person. I would say I would look at this person. Ah, he's doing something really good or productive, and he's doing my work for the people. I will reward that person, not the person who is doing something like lip service that I did something bad, I killed the person. Okay, I'm going to pray. What? Huh? Right? You get the point, guys. Right? That you need to have like you need to have like actions when you're going to do some if you're going to do something like really good things in life. Okay, do remember that. Uh, for me, I'm not really I said before, I'm not a hypocrite. I do admit, okay, guys, I do admit I'm doing something really bad. Well, that's a problem, Jack. Is that people do something like okay, since we are just between us, I would tolerate the discussion here. Okay, here's the problem for me towards the people who is like extremely Catholic in my place. They are way into rituals to the point that it's kind of pointless. It's counterproductive. Okay, for me that and those certain people are still really a shitheads for some reason because if I'm always dealing with them, I'm always dealing with them every fucking time that if I'm going to go near them, I can smell their toxic, being toxic person or let's say toxic behavior. They and not to mention, I do notice that they are kind of like full of hate for some reason, and they made my hate look like a kindergarten than them. And there is a reason why, and I would admit that some of them are racist as fuck too. And yes, in Philippines we do have racists in Philippines. Yes, that's true. We have a fucking racist here in my country, and they're just justifying shit. Oh God, if I have much more time, I want to extend, but I don't have much time right now, and I need to like go with the other uh the people of the world. Exactly. They don't practice what they preach, right? They don't practice shit. Exactly, Jack. That's what I'm implying. They don't practice what they preach. That's the problem. So anyhow, I'm going to read Mixie right now. I'm going to give you guys the Mixie, okay? So raid Mixie. So guys, I need to start working because I do have like I need to start my task for a moment because it's like 10:45 and I might go late. So guys, see you around Summer Sunday. I will play Genshin Impact again. I will finish the quest, side quest, and etc. So yeah. So see you around, guys, and take care. Thank you for the talk, Jack, and others who lurk. Yes, lurkers too. Jin, okay. At least Jin, even if you're late, you're not being an ass to me. But there is like other last time that is like literal ass. So yeah, I'm not referring to you. Yes, we are going to raid Mixie Moon. Bye bye. Okay. Moon. I want to raid Sweet Mixie Moon.